also known as the Brothers Hunt, where we take a weekly drive to the intersection of country music and the great outdoors. I almost forgot it there. Two things that go together like this God's Country podcast and a Donald Trump impression.
There's a lot of those happening.
I'm terrible at it.
And also two things that go together like Merle Haggard and The Rock. Bet you didn't know that.
Might have to listen
Those
to
two
find
things
that
go
one out.
together. Produced by MeatEater and iHeart Podcasts.
This cat's country, dude.
I mean, I knew it from the second I saw it on stage. He was pumped about bow season. And I'm like, bro, if you're pumped about bow season 15 years ago, you're a country cat. Dude.
If you've been to one of his concerts,
I have not. Is it pretty nuts?
He will stomp a hole in that stage.
Really?
And blow the hell out of a harmonica.
Yeah.
We've got our pal,
Janson,
Janson, Chris Janson
yeah.
out in God's country with us today. Man, we just went. We just talked, man, for an hour and a half about life, about music, about hunting. Not a lot about music, honestly, but a lot about hunting, a lot about his beliefs and conservation, and it was a good conversation.
Yeah, he's a Bass Pro lover. The guy loves Bass Pro.
Ain't no doubt. Got a signature hat. Does a lot of great stuff with conservation from it.
Tucked in on that. Just a good conversation. I honestly had heard he was extremely energetic and honestly kind of reckless, but he was very controlled and smart and seemed to know everything he was talking about. It was a lot of fun, dude. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's a real country music fan. He's a real country music singer.
Player too.
He's a
just
real
ripped the guitar out,
real
started
player.
ripping.
Real hunter. Just all the things that God's country's about. So stick around, listen to it, watch it, enjoy it, share it,
Follow us,
love it,
subscribe,
follow it,
share it,
love it with your family.
Do TikTok it,
Instagram it,
see it,
Facebook it.
Thanks.
Peace out. We've already been showing deer pictures. Chris's kids killed. Is it confirmed yet?
So you have to wait for the
dry.
Dry squirrels
yeah.
a
Was
year
it 30
thing.
days, 60 days?
Yeah, it's really more like a year by the time you get it all scored in and everything. And I don't know if we'll actually even do it, but
All right,
I know this. We taped them out originally, and we got a gross 190 7/8, which was nice.
How old's your son?
10. And
10-year-old might have the state archery record for for
and
Tennessee.
I talked to TWRA, and they said, by far, it would definitely be top 2 right now overall archery. And then if they open up a velvet category, which I'm hoping they do, it'll be number 1.
Man, that's interesting.
Already in.
That's what I'm saying. We've been
yet.
showing pictures. We've been doing all that. If you don't recognize that voice, which you probably do, we've got a multi-platinum number 1 singing, a dadding, harmonica slanging, Grand Ole Opry membering, cigar smoking, Mountain Dew drinking man with us today. We've got Mr. Chris Janson.
Hey, that's a great
God's country with it.
Forgot how much I loved you.
Well, I can't take the credit. My wife manager.
Well, that's
wrote all
wonderful.
That,
My wife does too, so that's perfect.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's good. I appreciate the intro.
You just walk around with Mountain Dews and harmonicas in your pockets?
You know what? As a matter of fact, kind of crazy, guys, but 6 months now I haven't had a Mountain Dew.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've turned my life around.
Good for
I really have.
Found Jesus and quit drinking Mountain Dew.
Got Jesus and sobriety. No, I mean, I just, you know how much I used to drink Mountain Dew.
He does. He told me you were
He was at my
killer.
cabin one time riding, and I drank like a 24-pack. But
I did too.
It was a great day, But
Hey, I'll say Mountain Dew it's really good.
Oh man.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I just quit drinking that, Cokes, any kind of added sugars or preservatives. I've been trying to go as much gluten-free as possible.
Yeah.
I cut out I haven't had red meat in the last 6 months except for wild game, which is
I
not
can't
really
do that. I can't cut red meat.
It's just crazy, man.
Yeah.
But I've changed my whole lifestyle, and I was getting kind of sick. If truth is told, I was getting kind of sick in my stomach. I was getting really bloated. I didn't know what was wrong with me. And so a combination of things. I got some blood work done for the first time in my life the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Blood work came back normal. That's partly because I've been totally cleansed for like 6 months, but I did like a parasite cleanse. I did the whole thing that all the hippies do, man. I did it, and I feel a lot better.
Oh, good.
There is a point Because I'm there too, man. Like and mine's not necessarily because like, well, yeah, I mean, our family deals with heart health stuff, and so like I want to be the healthiest I could possibly be, live as long as I can for my kids, all that stuff. But at some point in your life, there is a turning point. I know it's probably the same for females, but for males especially, like there's a turning point where it's like, hey, man, I've been eating like shit for the past 30 something years of my life.
Yeah.
And like I cannot continue to do this. One, because I want to live longer. Two, physically, it really hurts to eat bad. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a walking trash can for my
doubt.
whole life.
Same.
Really, until about 6 months
I was
ago.
Big Macs, double cheeseburgers, Taco Bell, bro, all the time.
Yeah.
And now if I on my way home today, if I stopped and got, now listen, I want to every time I pass one. But if I stopped and got a Big Mac meal and a double cheese,
if you're passing the exit, it's got all the things, all the ones on it. What are you pulling in for sure?
Well, it would either be Taco Bell or McDonald's.
That's
just depending on dude, I'm a trash redneck. But
Bacon,
small town Tennessee
for your boy.
I'm going to a Waffle House.
Really? You got to go in a
All-Star breakfast.
If you drive through it,
I'm a steamed hash browns with Worcestershire, side of bacon, 4 eggs over medium, yellows runny, whites hard, dry white toast, no butter kind of guy. Water, limited ice.
Dude, if I ate that right now, I would feel so bad for about 3 days.
I like a diet water with no ice, please.
But it feels like I'm 36 and everybody in
it does feel like there's a bit of
my
awakening.
life right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Like in my life, like the people around me, one, they're all having kids, all having babies. Two, everybody's trying to get healthy, man.
My GI doc said, "Hey, you can." He was actually a guy that Luke Bryan took me duck hunting with. He's one of Luke's real longtime buddies, and we went duck hunting a few years ago, and kind of kept in touch and became friends. And when Kelly finally made me reach out to him, she said, "You got to get with Brad." So she reached out to Caroline, hooked the thing up, and I called Brad and I explained my symptoms to him, and I was like crouched over, like I could barely walk in Florida. And he goes, "Well, you have 2 choices, man. You can get off the Mountain Dew if you haven't already, or you can die. And I'll call you back in a minute." And I was like, "Holy shnikey!" So,
guess I'm drinking water.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I was to the point where the kids were crying. Kelly was worried. I mean, I could barely walk. My kidneys were so swollen. I was masking it pretty good. I mean, I had a number 1 party for All I Need Is You, and my co-writer Mitch was like, "God, you are fat," and I was like, "Fuck you, I'm not fat. You're fat."
Oglesby says it, man. Oglesby, he says what's on his mind. Bro.
But hey, he had a point. I look back and I'm like, God, I was kind of fat.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'd went up like 2 pant sizes. I've never done that in my life. I've always been 135 or 145 pounds at max.
Bro, I was 155 in the 5th grade.
Okay.
For sure. Because I couldn't run the ball. They wouldn't let me run the ball in Pee Wee because I was...
There's like, 2 different body types here.
I was in the 4th grade.
Where'd you grow up in West Tennessee?
Savannah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
right where we tell everybody, right where Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee.
I know where it is. I killed a ton of turkeys down there.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Colley used to have a farm down there.
Oh, yeah. Wayne County. That's where we... Yeah, that's where we...
Hardin County line. What was it?
Wayne County line.
I can't remember.
Even the man on the moon is crying. We went down there and hunted went down there with Mossy Oak years and years ago, a long time ago, and killed a bunch of turkeys.
There's a bunch of turkeys down there. Turkey hunts. It kind of went through a little dry period back a few years ago, but they're back. There's turkeys all over the place down there.
Not to just completely sideline your story, but I played around with Mark Colley one time. This is really funny. So Daryl Worley's from Savannah.
Oh yeah,
we're from he kind of helped us along the way.
Playing one of his events this year, man.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, right. In Pickwick.
So me and Daryl and Mark Colley were playing this riders round thing, and there was some. Daryl said some things, and Wynn Varble was there. And man, you know how wind can just make a situation so awkward so fast by like in jest,
Yeah, in a good way.
Yeah, me too.
Are you really about to tell this?
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to tell that.
Okay.
But anyway, that had just happened. And so I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah, it's good.
Mark.
I bet it is.
He played, so we're supposed to play 4 songs, right? Well, he was the first. It was like Mark, then Daryl, me, Wynn. So Mark played his 4 songs, and there was like another 3-song round after it. Pro just gets up, puts his guitar in his case,
left,
and the show is going. And we
awesome.
Were like, see, Mark,
superstar
like,
move.
Appreciate
dude.
you boys having me, man. He had just done he was in some movie, like the Marvel movie and all this.
Marvel movie. Mark Colley was in a Marvel movie?
Yeah, dude. He's like some.
What was he?
He was the Equalizer.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's what it was.
He was
Punisher.
a superhero?
Punisher.
Yeah.
Really? I think he was like the main
bad guy in Punisher.
Yeah, the bad guy.
Damn, that's sick.
Dude, he is a hard mother. That's a hard dude. Like, just like, I mean, super nice, super sweet.
Mark Colley.
Bro, he's been in a bunch of movies.
That is crazy.
I know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The interesting life of Mark Colley.
Yeah,
No
right.
doubt.
It is interesting. And
When
he
I
just
was-
packed the stuff up and dipped.
When I was starting
You can do that when you're a movie star and
I
a
guess
country
so.
singer.
He didn't care.
When I started in Nashville, I started at Tootsie's, and that was my first gig, and I was playing the 4-hour shows, 4 shows a day kind of thing. And he used to come down there and always want to get up and sing. You know, I guess I was back in his drinking days. Probably it was always pretty wild and loose. But I remember the first time he came in, I was like, I recognize this guy, but like who?
Oh, yeah.
And then they're like, that's Mark Colley, man. Even the man in the moon is crying. And I was like, oh yeah. Great. I thought it was Johnny Cash.
It's
know?
an out of context thing. No, he does kind of have this black.
He does. He looks
shirt
he looks
thing.
like Johnny Cash. I mean,
He
if
does
they
kinda
had
look
cast him in a Johnny Cash movie, I mean, Johnny Cash movie would have been
That's true.
even bigger in my opinion. But,
Yeah, they should have.
But anyway, that's enough about him.
Yeah, enough about Mark Colley. But shout out Mark Colley.
What a great guy.
I don't know if anybody told you about this, but we do this thing called What You Mad At.
Oh yeah, did we prep him on our stuff?
Don't
And,
even prep me. Just tell me.
Okay.
And we like it's a little rant session. You know, if you want to get involved, you can say things that you're
Oh, I
upset
got
with.
plenty of shit we can rant about.
What you mad at? Just tell us what it is. What you mad at? Is it your in-laws, kids? Might be your boss man or your neighbor's cat. Just tell us what you mad at.
That might be the best one we've ever done.
That's a good one, man. You like that, CJ?
Yeah, I love it actually. 'Cause it's pretty much what I sing in my head every day, and I never even heard it.
What you mad at?
Man, I was thinking.
Are you glad
I had a
today?
pretty decent week last week.
Bro, you've been chippy.
Have I?
You've been like real, like not chippy in a bad way, but like you called me. Dan called me yesterday, and I was.
Well, first off, I was right with Bethard. He wasn't going to be there till 10:30. I was already in Spring Hill. I was like, well, I'll just.
You wake up feeling good that day anyway because you like don't have to go anywhere.
Oh yeah, that's a great.
You don't have
day
to drive
for me.
into
Yeah, and
town.
also you can't. It's hard to find something to be mad at when you're riding with Casey.
Totally.
For sure.
That's a
I
pretty
know
good
it's going
guy.
to be a fun hang session. So I was like, well, what? He was like, hey man, I'm at the park. And I was like, no, I'm early, man. Whatever you need to do. He's like, man, can you give me 30 minutes? I was like, sure. Ran by Goodwill. And just to see what I could find, you know, I'm a bargain hunter guy. It's
So
just
are we.
awesome. So I was just looking to see what I could find, swoop in there. And I was like, man, I ain't talked to Reid. I need to holler at Reid, you know, and just check, see how he's doing, you know. So I call him and we talked for maybe 5 seconds about nothing.
Dan was like, "What's up, dude? What are you doing, man?" And I was like, "Driving to town, man." He's like, "Cool, bro, man. Well,
I got
man, that deer's
Bethard.
big. I killed, man." And like, dude, and he was just
Yeah,
yeah.
those deer's awesome, man. Don't you wish you could kill that deer?
Yeah, no doubt.
Out of
Want to
no-
hear the story again?
Out of nowhere, Reid goes, hey man, I'm just gonna be honest with you, like, I'm just really not in the mood to small talk right now. And I was like, all good, dude. See, talk to you later, man. I hung up the phone,
Dude, I was trying to be like, I was trying to be involved, but like,
so so were you mad at?
I was
dude?
just driving, and I was just wanting, like, I was coming into town, had a long day, just wanted to zone out, put music on, not talk.
Who listens to music?
I'm in a music listening phase right now, man.
Huh?
I am. Like,
Man, I just love that you said that.
Oh, dude, I can't even turn it on.
I didn't for a
No
long.
offense to anyone that
No,
makes
I
music.
mean,
I didn't for a long
offense,
time.
no offense either way.
I
don't
go
care.
through these like sometimes like I don't. It's the last thing I want to listen to. I want to do a podcast or not even a podcast, like an audio book or you know my work tapes, trying to figure out. But like when I'm in a music, like I don't want to listen to an audio book right now because
who are you listening
I've
to?
listened
What do you
to
listen?
everything.
What comes on when you hit your thing?
I listened to Murr. I listened to Luke Bryan's new thing this morning on the way in. I listened to Murr, a little bit of Haggard this morning.
Me and Jordan just talked strategy the whole way in.
Thanks for the phone call.
You were listening to Merle. I don't want to mess that up.
Just everything. Just what's I don't know what's going on because I haven't been listening to music for 2 months. So
Interesting.
just seeing what's happening.
Yeah, I'm not mad at anything. I am. Okay. Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm mad. I'm mad at the way I don't feel like, and I'm not trying to make this a political thing, but I don't feel like you know what? bashing the media is not political, by the way. You can do that.
Bro, talk.
I don't feel like they are showing an honest depiction of what's going on in East Tennessee and Western North
What's the
Carolina.
deal with that? What's
They're
the deal?
not.
Why?
Why?
We just got back from East Tennessee, my wife and I, and we took our
Hey, good on you
youngest-
for doing that. Good on y'all for doing that. By the way,
I don't.
Jordan
thank
showed
you,
me the
but
post.
I don't say it just
For sure.
for the glory of it.
For
It's
sure
just-
you don't.
It's just
Yeah.
the neighborly thing to do.
For sure.
It was Kelly's idea. She said, "Hey, we're going to East Tennessee today." I said, "Okay."
We're Tennesseans.
Yeah.
I mean-
So we went to East Tennessee. We took my youngest son. We took Mitch Oglesby with us, and
cool.
we were riding that day. And I said, "Kelly just said you're going with us." He's like, "What?" I said, "Just you're going."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we loaded
He
up.
ain't got nothing else to do.
No, me and we partnered with Bass Pro. They donated a bunch of stuff. I mean, like a ton of stuff, waters, dry goods, things like that.
Yeah.
We went over there. To your point, the media is not covering East Tennessee. Now, not to say that they shouldn't be covering Asheville or Florida or Georgia or wherever else, but East Tennessee is getting zero coverage. I had no idea how poverty stricken and how literally people just when people say, "Oh, I didn't have much growing up," like they don't have anything growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, it was unbelievable. So, and that's and they're prideful people, which is amazing to see because they're mountain folks. They're It's true Appalachia.
Yeah, they're not going to
I have a
come
strong
out.
respect for that. I mean, I spent so many years touring West Virginia before I ever had a hit, so that's not that far away. Same kind of people.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we went over there, man, and we were able to do some drop-offs at some specific churches up in the mountains, the ones we could get to. I mean, most of the roads are washed out and that kind of thing. It pisses me off too. I really wish. Well, first of all, the coverage that it's getting over there in North Carolina and East Tennessee is not enough, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Bro,
It's
there's
just-
literal towns wiped away.
Oh, yeah,
There's
there's-
literal whole towns that will never be a town again.
Dude, there's babies running around with no shoes on and stuff, man.
Don't
Like
get me
looking for their
started.
parents and stuff, running around in muddy roads that aren't roads anymore. I mean, I drove through them, so I know what it looks like. It's the blacktop's not there, and if it is there, underneath the blacktop is washed away.
Yeah.
The rocks are washed away. The river's running right here. I'm talking about a trailer would be a luxury. I mean, to some of these places, man. I'm talking about shacks built with plywood, 2x4s,
Goodness.
and tarps, and that's these people's way of life. So, it's really eye-opening, man. We have so much to be thankful for, and we don't live. One thing I realized about after we left there the other day, we don't live in reality as far as what a lot of America lives in.
Agreed.
And something that I complain about all the time, to your point, is that we have a bad habit in this country of not taking care of our own and taking care of other people first.
Completely agree.
Amen.
So I
Completely
think
agree.
that's complete bullshit. And after you see that in person, because the truth is that's the backbone of America. That's actually too, that's a lot of, like, for instance, we're all in country, we write and sing country music. That's a lot of our country fans.
1,000%.
For sure.
Those are people who, like, that's the backbone of this country. It surpasses just being able to give back to your fellow man and your fellow woman and your neighbor. It really needs to be viewed as a bigger subject, in my opinion, because there's only so much that water and food can do.
Yeah.
If you don't have running water for 3 months, that is
Oh,
hard.
my gosh.
And you're used to it. That's hard to get by.
Totally.
If you
And,
don't have
and it's just you're
electricity-
not prepared for it, right?
if you don't have
Like, it's just
electricity and you're
immediately
used to
taken
it,
away.
right? And then you got somebody who say, "Well, those people know how to hunt and fish and stuff." Well, yeah, they know how to hunt when they have weapons.
Yeah, where their guns
But
are
I'm talking
in the
about-
bottom of some lake.
But I'm talking about shit's like washed down the river, dude. I mean, trucks piled up against bridges, and
Yeah, the
and
interstate is washed
Salt.
down the
hey,
river.
P.S. By the way, we were driving these back roads, and the water is still rushing. It's not like
Right.
it rained, it went away, some stuff flooded, and we're all moving on.
I saw a thing this
It's
morning
crazy.
from a guy that's a buddy of ours, Zach Massey, and I think Jordan and I actually talked about maybe getting him on later on to give us kind of a breakdown of what's going on. But he did a video and kind of analyzed, and he wasn't putting down or putting lightly floods that happen in, like, coastal regions where the water comes up, it messes everything up, and then it subsides. He was just kind of making a point so that, like, the layman understanding of it was basically the velocity at which the water poured from the lake onto these small towns. And I mean, he did a real good job of explaining that it was basically just like a surge, and it's
Like, just
still
like that.
a
wall
surge. And
of-
A quick one.
nothing to prepare, no prep. We got rain coming, nothing.
Correct.
It was just like, so there's this elevated. I'll give
1
you the,
second it's not, 1 second it is.
I'll give you the 10-second thing. So basically, there's an elevated lake in the mountains that all these different little communities use source water from. Well, when 30 inches of rain drops in 6 hours,
It's all got to go somewhere.
it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, it filled that lake up and just immediately poured over the dams, and the structure's not built for that. So once it comes surging, dude, it's like a tsunami in the mountains, just coming down, clearing everything out. And to Chris's point, it's like it's still flowing, dude.
Oh yeah, and not to mention
It hasn't subsided.
those mountains are really. I've been to East Tennessee a million times.
Sure.
I've never been to East Tennessee like I went to East Tennessee the other day.
Yeah,
It's a whole.
we've been in Knoxville.
Yeah, we've been to Knoxville, we've been
Right.
to Gatlinburg, we've been to Sevierville.
Right.
Unless you're getting up on the North Carolina
I've never
border,
been either, honestly.
you're not in East Tennessee. Trust
Wow.
me. It
Yeah.
ain't.
It's mountains,
The
dog.
Great Smoky Mountains are a whole different thing
Ain't
when
no
you get
doubt.
over in the mountains of Newport.
Huh.
Yeah.
Trust me, dude. It's a whole different world.
Huh.
And those mountains are like really steep. So you're driving in the canyons, which where does water go? It goes downhill.
Sure.
And so that water rushes mudslides off those hills. I mean, I saw houses like on technical high ground, if you will,
Yeah.
that were broken in half like this at the start at the foundation and just crinkled up like this. And then what? You just don't have anything anymore.
Nothing.
So I guess what we would say is for anybody watching this podcast, it's going to be a long time rebuilding process. So don't hesitate to. It's not just about sending funds and sending money. It's like, does that actually get to the hands of the people who need it?
Right.
Get your ass over there and take a look.
Yeah.
Once you see it, you'll want to live there and just fix it until it's better.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
Yeah,
really, truly.
yeah.
And I'll tell you that the water and the food, it matters, man. We pulled into one little country church, and you wouldn't have been able to find this place because there's no GPS. Let me shed light on this. There's no cell phone service. There's minimal electricity, zero water, no cell phone service. So you don't have a GPS. You don't have a Verizon, AT&T, any of the services carry, and you have none of this.
Stuck.
So we pull in just because my one of our in-laws lives there, and he's a mountain man. So we pulled in this little country church. We were going to drop off some water, and immediately, I guess somebody saw us off the mountain, and here came this lady. She had her daughter with her, and she was very kind. Hey, could you guys spare some water? Well, yeah, no, of course, no problem. Haven't been without water now for 4 days. I mean, could you imagine that? Could you
Goodness,
imagine
man.
telling your baby,
Dude.
"Oh, sorry, we don't have food and water"? I mean,
it's
we
heartbreaking.
can't.
No, we can't comprehend
Everybody
it.
watching this can't comprehend that.
Totally.
No.
So you gotta get invested, man. There's been things in the past too where we've been like, oh, let's just write a check and give it to them. Then that's out of sight, out of mind. That's easy to do. That's the easy out.
Yeah.
But once you go over there, it's pretty breathtaking. I'm glad Kelly said something because if it weren't for her, I mean, guilty as charged, we would all be a little out of sight, out of mind.
For sure.
If you're not right there in it,
Yeah.
it's hard not to be.
And
but
to
I'm
circle
glad we
all the way
went.
back, yeah, it's like without seeing it, like it's been 3 or 4 days now, and it's already. I feel like it's already kind of slotting back.
Oh, next
farther.
news cycle.
Yeah.
Next news cycle. What's going on?
What's the next thing?
God, that's my biggest complaint.
Yeah.
To your point,
Yeah.
is the news cycles in this country, man. It's like here today, gone tomorrow.
I know, man.
And we forget about our own. We
Common
forget
man
about-
out there hurting.
No,
They
yeah,
want
the-
you.
the-
They want
mean,
you to
dude.
believe that the problem goes away.
Oh,
Like when
yeah.
it goes out of your mind, it's fine, and
This
it's not
country
the
has-
case.
We have we as a
Let's
country
go.
have crippled the middle class, dude.
No
We
doubt.
have crippled there is no middle left in the middle class. I wrote it into a song the other day. There ain't no middle left in the middle class.
No.
Me and Drew Parker wrote that. And I
Love
just
that
said, I do too. And it just blows my mind. It blows my mind, man, because the people that are the backbone of our nation are the ones that get shit on the most.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to
And
me.
I wondered,
And they're the ones that work the hardest.
It's unbelievable.
part of me was wondering if maybe it's that mentality of like here's a quick example. So somebody was talking the other day and said after being 40, 50 years old, I finally asked my parents why they didn't show me the love that I felt like they showed my brother, who was kind of I can't get right kind of guy. And the mom said to her, well, you didn't need it as much. And she was like, that's entirely incorrect. Like, I needed it just as much as he did. And I wonder if that kind of applies to society where they go, oh, they're tough down there. They'll take care of themselves. Let's move on to a different thing.
It definitely does.
And it's not true, man.
Yeah.
Those people deserve attention and help just like everybody else, regardless of whether they're tough or not.
Yeah.
Sorry, I could do this.
No, it's
No,
okay.
no,
I
no,
could
I-
too. You fire me up when you start talking
yeah,
about
sorry,
that.
we
sorry,
talked.
sorry.
I wrote with Ray Fulcher yesterday, and he literally after our co-write drove straight to Harlem, Georgia, where he's from, which is just outside of Augusta. And he was like, "Bro, my town is gone.
Oh, is it really?
Like my town is like there ain't food and water. They're charging $12 at the gas pumps for gas right now because there ain't no gas anywhere. So people are having to drive 3 and 4 hours to get water, gas, and he's like, it's catastrophic, man." He's like, and nobody is talking about it. Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, it's weird. We're living in weird times right now.
Yeah,
Weird
man.
times, bro.
Yeah.
For sure.
Pray
Weird
that the Lord takes
times.
care of all those people.
Yeah. All right, we can switch gears.
He's gonna take care of it one way or the other. I promise you.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Ain't no doubt.
I mean, y'all better get ready. I mean, I ain't gonna tell you nothing, but y'all better get ready watching this.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't care if you
I'm
believe
with
in
you.
God or you believe in what you want.
Yeah, amen.
But I'm telling you, as a Christian man,
Yeah.
you better prepare yourself.
Yeah, that's preached.
Because at some point,
Yeah.
the rapture's happening.
Yeah.
The
Ain't no
horn's
doubt,
gonna
man.
blow, baby.
Ain't no
It's
doubt.
happening, and I might go down on this podcast as being the craziest son of a bitch in country music. But
Oh,
I don't
think
care.
so.
I'm not trying to preach, but I'm just telling you the truth.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna happen.
Prepare yourself. Yeah.
And you better prepare yourself, and you better learn to hunt and fish. You better learn to hunt and fish.
Let's
and
get
if you
it.
don't know how to hunt and fish, you're in trouble too.
Let's get it.
Yeah, you better know somebody that does.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You better know us.
On a lighter note, I am mad at going back to you going to Goodwill and you. I know we all like a deal. I'm mad at two things. The second is super petty. First one is I'm mad at literally, bro. We have a shark mop vac or something.
what?
A shark mop vac or
shark.
something that
Okay.
that you you can vacuum and mop the floors at the same time.
It's things that hit songwriters get.
We never.
Yeah, I
use-
can afford that.
You know the things.
we never use it. This thing's like $75. We never use it. And the fact that I put it on Marketplace to sell is beyond me. I don't even know why.
Is it still on there?
Dude, it's been on there for 2.5
So we
hours.
got a great shark vacuum here for like $80.
And I still I'll
been
get
on there for
the
a minute.
message from Facebook. It's like, have you sold this? I'm like, no, renew.
Renew.
You know,
You quit
7
asking
days.
me.
And so I got a message. This is literally happened. I took a screenshot of it.
Is this still available?
Yes, it is. If you want it, it is. You can have it.
Don't ask me how I know these words.
So somebody, is this available? Is it still available?
100%.
And I succumb and I said, yes, it is. The next thing she said, no thanks.
No thanks.
She asked if it was available. I said yes, and she said no thanks to me. I was like, God. And I took a screenshot and I was like, this is what's wrong with people. Like, this is the matter with Facebook. That drives me crazy. Is it available? Drives me crazy. Don't ask it. Just tell me you're going to come get it and
I know, bro.
lowball me and offer.
I know,
and I'm going to
bro.
say yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I can't. You're giving me tons of ammunition here. Keep going.
Second thing, and Jordan's going to roll her eyes at this. And listen,
I'm gonna watch to see.
I do it, and I try not to say anything and,
Wait, can I
and
guess?
be miserable.
Leave wet diapers on the change
No.
Okay.
Family pictures.
Oh man, those are so.
Did that
fun.
happen yesterday? That's why you were in a bad mood.
No, it wasn't.
Why didn't you just tell me that?
He was awful.
I was not offer. I did it. And I was smiling, and I kissed you on the forehead, and we made the little googly eyes at each other while she took pictures. But I literally apologized to our photographer.
Laura.
But yeah, Laura Lee.
She's awesome.
Leanne,
Leanne.
sorry.
I knew it was an L.
You
Sorry,
know
my
the
bad.
one.
My bad.
She's really sweet.
Laura, Linda.
Yeah,
What's her
they're all the-
Instagram?
she's
It's a
great.
little-
But here's the deal.
right,
Here's
sorry.
why I don't know her name very well, and I'm sorry. And she's taking so many pictures of me.
Super sweet.
It's because I'm in a bad mood every time I'm around her. And I literally apologized to her. I apologized to her yesterday. I was like, she walked in. She's like, "How's it going, Reid?" And I was like, "Oh." And Jordan was like, "You caught him again on one of the best, on one of the finest days." I was like, "Listen," I was like, "Leanne, we need to hang out outside of this because I promise you, I'm a pleasant
I'm a
person.
decent human.
I am. I really am. I'm not an asshole like you see me, like you've only seen me in your life." She came to my kid's birthday party and we had a fun time there. But like the 95% of the time we hang out, she's taking pictures of us and my kids and our family. And I'm all dressed up.
So why are you so
and-
mad? Why are you getting mad at that?
Oh, it's miserable.
I mean, yeah,
it's
it's miserable.
miserable.
But I feel like at this point, you just can kind of compartmentalize.
Did I not?
Yeah, what else is miserable?
Being a wee.
Okay. We did just get back. Well, first off,
Yeah, let's be quick to not say miserable about that.
It is a hunting trip. It was also
a lot of work going on.
A little bit of work going on. We played a little Utah jazz thing.
Yeah,
for some foundational stuff. and paid some things off of
anyway,
that.
family pictures. Oh,
yeah, family pictures.
Sorry.
What are you mad at? Anything else, or you think you're good?
Oh, I can go on for days. I'll give you the first thing. I agree with you. So that would be the first thing that kind of gets under my skin.
Me too.
I hate people on their phone when they're driving, including me.
Totally.
But I hate people in front of me on their phones when I'm driving. I like to drive fast. I make no bones about it, and I will ride your ass all the way to the interstate.
You are a
no
fast
problem.
driver. I've heard you were a fast driver.
Like real fast.
Yeah.
What do you mean heard? What does that mean?
I mean, I think I've heard someone say, "Man, Chris Janson passed me this morning doing 120 on his way in."
100%. Yeah, I know. I drive. I mean, I am number 3 Earnhart all the way when I'm behind the wheel of the car. Yeah. So that's the third biggest thing is social media drives me insane. Yeah. Well, here's why though. It doesn't drive me insane just for the people that are on it, including myself, but it drives me crazy the censorship in social media and the censorship, especially in our country music community, that nobody talks about. By the way, we all talk about streaming. We talk about downloads. We talk about this and that and this and that. Numbers and numbers matter. Numbers are full of shit. Numbers are full of show me numbers.
I've been saying this is third grade math class, baby.
It's true. It's true. You get censored if you say God's guns, Christian, Republican, conservative, hunting, fishing.
He's got a thing going on right now.
I do too.
Literally.
I do too. You have no idea. You have no idea. I'm talking about to the hundreds of thousands of people who got swapped from me from social media.
For what?
For all those things I just mentioned. And
for
just,
core values in your life,
yeah, just for
in
the core values of our life, because social media will shadow ban you. People
the term.
People laugh at shadow banning. They start calling you a conspiracy theorist, right? Well, that's because if they know you're right, they start calling you everything. It's just like you call a liar a liar if you're the liar, you know.
Yeah.
But so social media drives me crazy. It also drives me crazy on social media when people keyboard warriors, like Brantley would call them.
Yeah.
Like people who talk so much shit online, but if they ever came across a redneck's face, they would never say a word.
No,
and you know
because they know what would happen.
And
if they did.
we see them a million times a day.
Okay, I'm gonna close my eyes, and I want you to just walk me through the day that you just had up in Colorado mountains where. Colorado mountains where you shot your elk. I just want to feel that day, dude.
All right. Well, we went with a great group of friends first and foremost, and it's thankfully it's been a yearly trip that I've been able to go on, and Kelly goes with me, and Jesse, my little 10-year-old, goes with me and hunts with me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Georgia, our youngest daughter, goes sometimes. Mother-in-law went this year. It was really fantastic family event.
Family thing. That's awesome.
I don't go on. Let me just be clear. I don't like to go on hunting trips. I don't go on hunting trips if my family or kids are not invited. So I just don't think that's a great. I don't think that's a great vibe. I just don't like that. So I'm not gonna do. Yeah, I know you love those, but I'm not gonna do any of. I just don't do those.
Jordan was there for all this stuff.
We go out, and it was the first day, first afternoon, and well, first I'd gotten a mule deer tag, which is pretty coveted, and so I got this bow mule deer tag, and we saw the mule deer first, and he was out in the the lower mountains and the plains, kind of out there amongst the sage and everything. And I spot and stalked the mule deer on foot. My little boy was right there with me. He was filming behind me, like
awesome.
40 yards. Yeah, my 10-year-old's a total badass.
Yeah,
he was in a deer stand this morning before I got up.
Yeah, he might have the state record archery.
Yeah,
what are you talking about? Badass?
He's a big time bow guy.
Killer.
So
awesome.
We're out there. I'm crawling around with a bow. He's like 40 yards behind me with his iPhone, kind of whispering like, "Hey, he's right there. Why aren't you shooting? Why aren't you shooting?" And I couldn't get a shot, of course, where I was at. I ended up finding a little hole about a heart-sized hole and flopped one in there at 55 yards and smoked a 185-inch mule deer. That was my first mule deer, which I'm grateful for.
He was still in velvet too, right?
Yeah, full velvet.
He's
and then the velvet's
beautiful.
different. The velvet on a mule deer is different than a whitetail. So whitetail's just like real like peach fuzz. But a mule deer velvet is like actual hair.
Of course.
Yeah. Huh. So it's crazy. But so behind us was like a creek bed and then a little, I call it a sendero, but like basically 100-yard opening of sagebrush and things like that. And then it went straight up to the mountains in the draws. Well, the elk were coming down to feed in the evenings and do their deal, and
Is this the same day?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
This is as I'm taking pictures with the mule deer, right?
You got screaming bulls coming down the
Oh
mountain.
yeah. No, they're screaming, and they're screaming everywhere. And so I'm like, all right. So we get the pictures, we load the deer up, and we had the truck because we were driving way back into this ranch. So we had the truck, we loaded it up, hid it behind a cottonwood tree, and these bulls were screaming. I said, let's just walk down this road. So we go walking down the logging road, and man, there's bulls down in the river, and they're tearing up trees, and there's bulls fighting. And I mean, they were like, there's a whole herd of them. So it was, and just cows everywhere, just bleating and doing the whole deal. So I come around this bend, and one of them that was in the little creek in front of me kind of sees me, and he darts up the riverbank, runs over, and Pat, the guy who hunts with us, he's a longtime guide. Now this is not like, okay, Mr. Janson, here's the one you shoot. He's not this is not that kind of hunt. Yeah. This is a real mountain man guide who's just, he's just there. And I'm glad he is, because he knows it better than I do.
Same.
So he hits the pew, and that thing stopped, man, threw his head over. I was drawn back at 52, and I let it go. And as soon as I let it go, the bull turned and quartered to me. As soon as I let the arrow go, he turned, and it's, smack, and he took off running, and he fell. And I'm like, wow. And Jesse, you can hear Jesse's filming the whole thing behind me. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, he's down, Dad, he's down. So we just kind of hunkered down for a minute, and the elk got back up. There were a bunch of other bulls running around crazy, acting nutty.
Yeah. Adrenaline's probably surging.
Yeah, so I'm assuming the adrenaline kicked in on my bull.
Yeah,
and he got up and kind of wobbled off, and I was like, how in the hell? So long story short, we look a little bit that night after dark. We gave it a few hours. We found some blood.
Good blood or just
no, great blood.
Oh, okay.
And so we backed out, came back in the next morning, found my arrow, found the same great blood, and tracked him for about 75 yards. And then the way he went, we could see in the binoculars the way he went until he went over a crest of a hill. And we lost him, and we lost all the blood. So then we started grid searching with all the people that we're on the trip with, all my buddies, Johnny, JP, all of them. So we're grid searching.
Oh, that's a
tough pill to swallow
feeling.
when you start
so
grid.
Jesse, my 10-year-old found him.
No way.
Come on.
My 10-year-old found him, and found him with my buddy JP, and called me and said, hey, we found some new blood. Come way back, and I was way at the mountain. 2 miles away. It feels like, right? I'm way gone. I had put in some steps now. Yeah. So I come back down off the mountain to meet them, and they're showing me this. I'm like, okay, cool. So I get right on the blood, and I'm going around, and I walk right around the corner, and they all started laughing. They were filming me, and I was so just.
Ain't no doubt, man.
Yeah. So I found the elk and got to him. Great bull, big mass, just awesome bull. I had hit him when he stepped to me when I shot. There's like when your shoulder attaches to your body, there's a crack right here.
Sure.
That's right. I don't know what that's called, but that crack where the
shoulder crack, that's what it's called.
The one. The shoulder crack where the cartilage is, and then if it goes in. So the rib cage kind of goes up behind that on the elk. Well, the arrow hit right in that crack and went right through into the vitals, and that's where the good blood was coming from.
Wow.
This is the MeatEater God's Country podcast.
Yeah, you can totally say
where we talk about hunting, fishing,
blood,
blood,
shoulder cracks,
and killing and shoulder cracks.
Now, can you tell me that exact same shoulder crack analogy in Trump voice?
It was a fantastic thing. We got a lot of great. Well, first of all, let me say that I crack is not great. It's not a great thing. We're going to shut it down. Actually, we got a lot of crack coming in, and we're going to. We're gonna get rid of the crack, and I can tell you this: and by January 26th, we're gonna be cracking skulls if you got the crack. But we love hunting, we love fishing, and I've never actually done it myself, but I want to. I want to do it, and I know that we're gonna be taking it. And I'm a meat guy. I love McDonald's. It's a great place. You guys are the meat eaters, God's country. We love God. We love meat. We love everything that goes along with it. Elk, deer. all the great people. Colorado, we're going to change a few things there. Fantastic state.
elk, reindeer.
Well, it's a fantastic thing. I mean, I'm going to propose that we have elk burgers at Mar-a-Lago. Beautiful place, by the way. Gold.
Shocking.
We've had a few impressions of it, but that is
Shocking.
by far, even like Shane Gillis, I think you're better than him.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
and
better than
Shane
Shane
Gillis is like one
Big
of the.
Shane, great guy. But nothing like me, maybe. I don't know. Maybe there's.
It's the little nuance
Well,
things that makes
it's
it.
competing. I mean, nuances, and I love nuances. I mean, as a matter of
He's
fact,
got
I
the
mean,
hands
when I
down.
was arguing a lot of times, when I was arguing,
So good.
So good,
I had to get you to
so-
say
geez,
something.
so
That was
good.
beautiful.
Michelle and I, we sit behind the scenes for a lot of the debates.
I know, dude.
I had no idea.
Well, if you go back in history, we changed a lot of things, and I was a president for not only one term but 2 terms. People really loved me. We got to bring the country together. The unity.
Dude, I feel like I'm.
And
Did you practice this stuff, man?
No,
How
I
did
just
we
get so good?
It just-
How does somebody get so good at that?
it just
honestly?
comes to me. Hey, may I say one thing really
Do
quick?
Kamala. I'm
Okay.
just kidding. No, don't.
Yeah,
How
so
about-
he was
how
about to
about
make a
this?
point. He's about to make a point. Go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to say this earlier. So this is like probably the realest podcast that I've seen. Like
Oh, thanks.
this is the real deal. Your wife's here. I love that, by the way.
Yeah, man.
It's my wife's here. Your wife's here. So I'm going to say this loud and publicly. Earlier when we were talking about the things we hate, that's one thing that I personally love. But I want to say this for real. I mean this from the heart. We can sit here and we can bitch about things, but what good are we doing for people listening? We're not doing anything but just bitching. And that just creates negativity. And a lot of the way that I wake up every day is trying to get rid of the negative in my life.
man.
For sure.
And so maybe I just want to add to my point about the negativity thing is this. Man, we have the power to control the narrative. We as people have the power to control the narrative. So how we present ourselves is how people will react to us, right? And so when it comes to, like I was talking about, from the stage or from the social media thing or whatever, how we present ourselves can change that narrative. And I think the more positivity that we put out, and also I again, may I say, I love getting into the things we can complain about,
Oh, yeah.
but
Yeah.
because we're humans. But I think that adding to that the things that we can be grateful for
For sure.
and the things that we live in such a greater picture that I don't think we even have to focus on the negative things anymore. I mean,
completely agree.
the things, if we want to change things, if we want to change the narrative in the way things are viewed in our country, vote. If we want to change things in the way that people are viewed in the hunting community, man, be a good representative
Yeah,
of it.
clean it
Yeah,
up.
absolutely.
Clean it up.
Sure.
Be a good representative of conservation.
Absolutely.
If we want to be, if we want to straighten out the social media crazy world and the live shows and stuff, man, straighten it up.
Yeah, man.
Be the guy or the girl they talk about that goes,
Absolutely.
man, that's awesome. I want to be
so
that.
that's a great transition, and let's talk about some of what you're doing with your partnership with Bass Pro and your
thanks.
hat and the Harpeth Conservatory and Hunters for the Hungry and Tennessee Riverkeeper. Like, where's your heart and all that, and why do you want to get involved with that kind of stuff?
Well, thank you. So for the last couple years, since 2017, I've been a Bass Pro man, and I'm so proud of that. And Johnny with Bass Pro has become one of my best buddies, and JP, his son, just fabulous people, great organization and company, as you know. I told them right off the bat, after like the first week of meeting them, JP tells a story all the time. He said, man, Janson called and said, we got to get a Chris Janson signature hat.
Yeah.
And so we did, and this is it. It's got my signatures on it. Johnny's on the back classically, and then it's just a typical Bass Pro hat.
Yeah.
But when we sell these, 70 or 75% goes back to conservation, the ones you just mentioned. And why is my heart in it? Because of the things, actually, you're exactly right. Great segue to that. Man, if we complain when we float down the Harpeth River about trash being in the river. We'll pick it up.
Yeah.
I mean, how simple is that?
Sure, clean
right?
it.
The things we complain about in life, we have the narrative to change it. So, and we have the power to change it just waking up every day.
Right.
So my heart's in it for that. With Hunters for the Hungry, and that goes for all the rivers conservatives or the conservation efforts that we do. As far as the Hunters for the Hungry is concerned, there are a lot of people that don't have food. There are a lot of people that don't have water. We've been talking about with East Tennessee, Asheville, Georgia, Florida, all these places that were devastated by the hurricane. There are a lot of things that we take for granted. And one of the things that I've we all take for granted as outdoorsmen, as hunting and fishing. I mean, we've just grown up doing it, you know?
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of us do it for sport even. Oh man, this is just a fun thing we do. Well, some people survive off of that. So with the funds sold from the hat, we give a large portion to the Wildlife Federation, which pays for the processing of wild game. So anything that you shoot an extra doe and you don't have room for it in your freezer and nobody wants to take it, you can donate it to whatever, whatever the Federation has, like certain processing places that they work with, and the hat pays for the hat goes to the Federation, which pays for the funds to make the processed food, and it goes to people for free.
Yep.
So we've done a lot of meals.
So just so you're clear on that, the processor doesn't lose money by processing the deer for them. They get paid.
Yeah,
but who
right.
they get paid by is out of
the Wildlife Federation.
That's right. The Hunters for the Hungry program.
Right. Like if you see a game warden truck, you'll see a upside down triangle sticker on it.
That's right.
TNWF
Orange and black.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Tennessee Wildlife Federation. And so that's it. And Hunters for the Hungry is a great organization. There's plenty around the nation that do this.
That's right.
In their own regard. But for
so
here,
don't let that deer go to waste. If you've got
absolutely
something,
not. Yeah,
there's always a place that'll take it, and there's somebody that
and a quick Google can give you that, and there's probably one within driving distance from where you're at to
over there near us.
Yeah, there's a spot in Lawrenceburg down there on the way to Wayne County that also does it. There's a lot of people get involved. It's a great program to feed less fortunate.
It's a nice thing. So, I love the conservation minded stuff, and people have written me up now and called me a conservationist, which is something I never called myself, but I'm proud of it, and I take it now. So I put it on all my things. I mean, it's a big part of who I am and what I stand for, and
it's a great badge to wear, man.
It is. I thank you. And with Bass Pro, I mean, we've also been able to help our veteran community a lot. You know, they do a lot with veterans. They hire a lot of veterans. And Johnny and I really see eye to eye on that in a big way. And so I try to lend my efforts as much as possible. And that's led into lots of circles with lots of different people. And I think it's, just promoting the lifestyle of the outdoors. I mean, the God's country. I mean, that goes right along with it. I mean, promoting the lifestyle and living it and walking it like you talk it and actually doing it, not just putting on a camo hat, but actually getting in the woods and hunting.
It's a part of the calling, right?
Yeah,
it's who we are.
Yeah,
it's who God intended us to be, and so I completely couldn't agree with you more. Like, it is not just talking the talk, man. It's walking the walk and being about it.
It's kind of the reason that we even started the Brothers Hunt and this whole thing in the first place. We were, like I said, 10, 11 years ago now at this point, maybe even longer than that, we were at a point, dude, where we were so tired of the way hunting was being conveyed on social media, man. It just was such a conquering thing. Like, look how badass
trendy, fake,
trendy thing. As
exactly what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, I know.
As opposed to like an ethical, honestly
vulnerable
to live in a country where we could even partake in this thing, and it was one of the reasons that we started in the first place, and it's taken us all over the world, and the same mindset you're in, man, like portraying a sensible, level of hunting that's not just look how big this thing is, that there's
totally.
One of my favorite things about you too is like Nashville, and cities all over America and all over the country do this and in the world. But like, we live in a very trendy society where there's something that's cool, something gets portrayed on social media that somebody famous is doing, so everybody wants to do it. Hunting I feel like has been a type of, fishing has been a type of that. Being an outdoorsman in this genre is becoming a thing and it is becoming cool again. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of guys that are coming to it, not being from it, but wanting to be from it now and be portrayed like that. Bro, your whole career have been that way, man. And listening to a top 25 song now, Kelly, like listening to what you see is what you get is,
thank you,
dude, you're speaking it.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's, people can sing that song and not live that way. Dude, listening to that song, man, I'm like, this cat, Dan, others that I know that are really, truly, have been outdoorsmen and try to be conservationists, bro. Like, that's what we're about. What you see is what you get, man. And you do that in your song, man.
Thank you very much for saying that. I appreciate it. I'm living the lifestyle. I mean, if I weren't here this morning, I'd be getting out of deer stand about now.
Yeah.
So, like I said, my little boy was in one this morning. But man, I'm, you can ask Kelly. Like I'm food plotting just about every day that we're home.
I mean, my food plot is rocking with all this rain.
Yeah,
dude.
mine too. I'm working the land. I'm not a farmer by any means, but
me neither.
but I'm farming for wildlife.
Same.
Sure.
And so, it's pretty awesome. But
yeah, it is.
so I guess I'm pretty much a farmer. But anyway,
So I can wear a cowboy hat if I want to.
But
I'm planting rows.
I appreciate you saying that. What you see is what you get is a very accurate title for me. I mean, it's a very accurate description of who I am, and as you see, and especially even during this podcast, I mean, I just say it like I think it, and I don't really care. I really don't. I mean, I spent a lot of years.
You've earned that right, man.
Like how do you say this or how do you navigate that?
Sure.
Why don't you just say what you think and move on with life?
Funny, I have a great story about you that you don't know.
Oh, perfect.
But it's my first it was my first introduction to you. I started writing in town probably about 08-ish. And it was right when Whiskey Jam was getting popping. Do you remember this? Like when Whiskey Jam kind of first took off?
Nope.
You don't.
Keep going.
So it was that era, right? And you were playing Whiskey Jam, and it was like it must have been.
Was this? Okay, keep going.
It might have been Joe Diffie night. Remember when Joe Diffie played down there in the parking lot? It was out in the parking lot.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's the night I broke my tooth.
Is it?
Yeah.
So you had just had your first.
That was Whiskey Jam.
Or an outdoor show at Losers.
It was the Big 98 show.
Okay.
That's what it was.
So you were on stage and you had just had your first rider hit with Truck Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
this was 2012.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said hey y'all, Chris Janson. It's great to be here. It's a great day. Bow season open today. And I was like, there's another guy in the state that knows bow season open. He was so pumped up.
You damn right.
Proud of it.
I'm really only pumped up about that.
And I was like, man, I got to know that guy. Because I think we were probably the only two in the crowd that knew, because in Tennessee at the time, nobody really bow hunted, man. Nobody did.
I'm an OG.
And so when you were like, bow season, I was like, oh, this is a real
It's a great day.
This is a real dude right here. We're on the same plane. So yeah,
thanks,
you
man.
definitely have lived it. Even on stage, man, you started hollering about bow season opening.
Well,
it wasn't even gun season opener. It was the bow season opener.
Yeah, well, that's the most important one in my opinion. It's like, but okay. So that night, I do remember that. So we had me and Kelly were leaving on the road that night, and that is the night as I was singing "Truck Yeah," which was my first big hit single cut.
Yeah.
And this is like, keep in mind for people out there, this is several years pre Buy Me a Boat. So
oh geez, it was
2 or 3, 4 years before Buy Me a Boat. So I mean, like we were, I had a super low level artist career going on and had a hit as a songwriter. So that was cool. But we had a good, nice touring operation. Anyway, we were leaving on the road that night. Well, during Truck Yeah, those strobes were hitting so hard that I was going, truck, yeah. And I put that microphone and it busted my front tooth out. Busted it in half. And so that night before we left on the road, we took that bus all the way to Franklin. That's where I met my now dentist.
Porcelained you up.
Yeah, literally, he built me a new tooth.
Yeah.
And I went on the road. So my front 2 teeth are broken. One's broken off because of a water hose when I was a kid. That
Truck,
yeah. So my buddy Philip, when I was a kid, broke my tooth out with a water hose and chipped it right in half.
Come on, Philip.
Yeah.
Quit swinging that hose.
Yeah,
Phillip.
come on, man. The metal part on the end.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine that? And then the microphone. I'm the world's guy who's done that the most. I think probably I've smacked myself in the face with the microphone a bunch, but I just get into it.
That's weird. You remember?
I remember it. I remember exactly what I was wearing. I remember the bus. I have a photographic
crazy.
memory like that.
I was doing dips one time in high school for basketball practice, and like the dip bar. So have you ever done the dip bar?
Mm-mm.
It's like this.
Is that a workout thing?
Big contraption. Yeah, it's like
I never done it.
2 coming up and then 2 bars going out on either side like this. So you jump up and you grab the bars, and then you like do like that, and you're doing dips like this. It's like a whatever. I haven't done it in a million years since that day probably, but I was like, we called this thing dips till you die. And I was doing that, and I was up on that thing like this. And about that time, my arms gave out, died, and my tooth went straight down on that middle bar and went. And it was above. I mean, I was 4'1", and when I was a senior in high school, and went boom and bounced off, and the whole side of this chip, like this tooth right here, half of it came off.
Dude,
And
the last
I had
time,
the porcelain.
the last time me and Reid
Potty mouth.
honestly worked out together was when we were back living in Savannah. This is a great story. And we decided we were going to go to the gym after church. And so it was a Wednesday night. We went, and we were doing those things where I was standing on his feet, and he would throw the medicine. He would throw the medicine ball to the guy, and he would do a crunch, and he'd come back up and throw it to you. You know this thing, right? So,
Lost my favorite jacket this night.
did you?
Yeah, I have no clue where it's at.
Sorry about that. It wouldn't fit now anyway.
Totally,
So-
wouldn't, absolutely would not.
So I'm standing, and he's throwing the ball to me, and I'm throwing the ball to him. Well, I'm a squirrel kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like, I can't, it's hard for me to stay focused. So as I'm pitching in the ball, he's getting, you know, it's like 7, 8. Well, he's counting. I'm not counting. Well, he goes
It's a
down
12-pound medicine
and
ball.
is done. And I just am like watching Sports Center, and I just chunk the ball back to assuming he's going to catch it. Bro, it catches him in the forehead
Knocked
and,
him out.
and just hammers his head on
It
the
was about
back
6
of
inches
the,
from the hardwood floor.
back of the hardwood floor. He's like, oh God. And I'm like, oh shit, dude, are you okay? Dude, I'm so sorry, man. You okay? He's like, yeah, man, I think I'm fine. I'm just a little, give me just a second. And I'm like, bro, that's 12 pounds to the dome, man. Like, I think maybe we should get you checked out. You know, he's like, no, I'm fine, man. I'm fine. And then he starts like weirdly kind of like crying, laughing.
I was crying. I was not crying.
I mean, it was like, like spacing out.
Like the brain might have been loose from
Something
the cap.
was loose, dude. So I'm like,
Dang,
all right, we
dude.
got to get out of here, dude. We got to get out of here. I got to get you to the hospital. Well, our brother-in-law is a licensed doctor. He's a doctor, which works out great in our favor in a lot of
No
situations.
doubt.
So I call him on the phone. I'm like, hey, man, I think I just killed Reid. Like, he's kind of crying, laughing weird in the passenger seat. I'm taking him to the hospital as fast as I can. He's like, well, what happened, man? I was like, well, I kind of chunked a 12-pound medicine ball at his face. He's like, what? I was like, no, it's not. We were working out, you know? And he's like, okay, well, here's the first thing you do. Like, do you have any water? I'm like, yeah, he's drank some water. He's like, okay, don't let him go to sleep. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I look over and Reid's against the window going,
Oh, perfect.
So I was like, he's asleep. He's like, wake him up. Anyway, he ended up having some like insane concussion from where I just like
Yeah, concussed.
nearly killed him. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
dude.
so the brain really was detached from the
So
skull.
don't work out. You know, it's bad.
Right.
It's bad for you.
Don't worry,
Don't
I'm
work
not.
out. Yeah, me either. Don't do dips till you die.
Yeah, teeth break, concussions. Just don't.
There's like this whole culture nowadays, as you well know, it's been going around for years, but I think you just notice things as life goes on or whatever. But like of all the dudes, man, it's like tight t-shirts and we work out and let's just, man, to hell with all that. I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah, dude. Dad
Did
bod
Merle
for
Haggard
life.
ever do that? No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
DB for life, dude.
Does Hank
Dad
Jr. look
bod.
like he ever worked out? No.
Turned out all right.
I don't really
Cool
care,
as
man. I'm cool being a $145.
That guy is cool. Yeah.
And I don't care if the arms are a little slinky on my. I don't care. Who cares?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
I
I'm
got a
200
hot-
trying to kill 200.
Yeah, dude. I
You
got
know
a
what I'm
hot
saying?
wife and I ain't worried about it.
Oh,
I ain't trying to
preach.
impress
Hey,
nobody.
Come
Amen.
on, man. I don't feel that.
Amen. Oh, dude. We're an hour. We're an hour already.
Hey, this has been a good. This is a good podcast.
I don't even know
Already.
if we've talked music. Did we kind of talked.
We talked about the
music. We talked
single.
about
Yeah.
the
Hey,
single.
how was it like working with The Rock?
It was really good. Thanks for asking. He's of course in the video for what you see is what
Yeah.
you get.
Did he ever do you smell what The Rock's cooking?
He did a few
He
times.
did.
Did he?
But,
Did he?
uh,
Yeah, good for him.
he's a wonderful person. I really have to say that I've met two wonderful people over the last year that I've become close friends with who are incredibly famous. Rock being one of them, and Bret Michaels being the other. And
Bret Michaels is a nice guy.
he's the nicest person you've ever met in history,
Wow.
literally.
That's that's
Would do
great to hear,
anything.
man.
Would do anything for anybody,
Wow.
and
Good for him.
like a brother to me. But
Yeah.
Wait, sorry. This is
Sure.
this is me. Is Brett Michaels the one that died?
no, Bret Michaels
What?
poison.
Oh, okay.
He was not poisoned. He is poisoned.
Okay.
You know the one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So he didn't die.
Well, I don't know why I think he died.
That's okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was
you
just
just
wondering.
said he met him this year, dude.
No,
What do you
I
know,
thought it
like,
might have been
6
recent. My
months?
bad.
No, I hope he didn't die. But no, but hey, but,
He's like a brother to me.
but The Rock is an amazing guy, and we got some things planned, and we're gonna try to. I'm thinking speak first quarter of 25, but I think we're
Cool.
gonna do some musical things together. Maybe
Nice.
he's
Cool.
a big Haggard, Hank Jr. kind of fan. That's how we
What?
initially big time. He can sing you any song.
Like decent? Is he can
Yeah, he's great. No, he's great.
Really?
Yeah, he's great.
Okay.
You know, he lived here as a kid. He grew up in Nashville. Went to
What?
McGavick High School.
I did not know.
The Rock?
Mm-hmm.
What?
And get this.
I
so-
obviously don't know anything because I thought Burt Michaels is dead.
It's okay. When we
It's
when
Brett,
we-
not Bert.
yeah, you know the one.
Burt Michaels.
Yeah, Burt Michaels. Eastbound and Down.
Brother Ernie, right?
Yeah.
He's found in that.
So-
He's down in Poison.
So when he short story, but you know, I started at Tootsie's when I first moved to Nashville, and The Rock tried to get a gig at Tootsie's when he was a kid,
No way.
just like me. So we have a very
The Rock.
similar story as far as that's concerned, and that's just living proof of the guy who's lived the American dream.
Yeah,
and
man.
as
Dude,
far as I
had
can tell,
no idea.
yeah, but he is the most humble dude. And after we did the
Talk about a
video,
tight t-shirt ripped guy. Jeez,
totally.
that guy.
After we did the video together, which was incredible. I mean, his team set up a whole press day, and we went to Los Angeles and did, you know, the Entertainment Tonight, the whole big spectrum press and media stuff, and just sat there like we're sitting, just me
Wow.
and The Rock, and did it, which is, you know,
That's cool.
that's pretty impressive. I mean,
Yeah, that's
not,
awesome.
Not everybody can say they got to do that, so
yeah, that's awesome.
I'm thankful for that, and I appreciate you asking. He's a great guy.
That's
great
cool.
great guy.
That's,
You know,
that's a cool video. If you haven't watched that video, go watch it.
I've
Y'all
seen
are
him.
sitting,
real.
you sitting in a redneck, you know,
Yeah.
like blind, and
He's,
That's the
he's a
house.
fisherman too, man. I've seen him hauling bass out.
Oh, he's a southern. I mean, he's a southern boy. Played
Yeah.
played football at Georgia.
Dude, I don't know about
played,
that. but
played
dude
football
loves,
somewhere.
Dude loves to fish. I can tell you that.
yeah, I've seen him haul a pretty decent bass out of.
Yeah, no, he loves to fish and is a great guy. And so we filmed half of that at Bass Pro Shops in Nashville. Then we filmed the other part at my house in the Redneck Blinds and stuff like that. And then we filmed the parts with Dwayne in Texas. He was doing a wrestling match, and I had a show, and we met in the middle and filmed that. He actually rented that awesome Ford for the video.
This thing's sharp.
It's really sharp truck.
Yeah.
And he rented it, and it was hard to take out and trash and go mudding in a truck that nice. I mean, that was a collector piece, you know, but we had a good time. And
Did you legit catch a fish out of the tank?
oh yeah,
Like
Oh, really?
legit hooked one, and
well, we took the hooks off just for the
Okay.
just for the practicality of it. You know, it's,
Yeah.
I'm respect
Sure.
for
Yeah.
Johnny's tank, but I
the
did
fish.
catch one. They'll snag on
the
to
bite,
it.
hold on to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
Man.
I got him right up to the water's edge, but I never lift one. You know, but I'm also respectful of the tank. Like,
Have you seen this trend going around where
yeah,
of
that
guy-
pisses me off.
Me
bad.
too.
What?
People are jumping. They're filming their friends jumping in the tanks
Oh,
at
I'll
Bass
fight.
Pros.
If I'm in Bass Pro, somebody jumps in.
and they're jumping in, flipping over the glass wall, and then running
Yeah.
out of the store, like
And I
just to
can
try
tell
to
you-
suck a bottle.
I can tell you from that dude, you know, John is one of my best friends in life, and the effort that he puts into his stores and personally puts into his stores,
Yeah.
Wow.
and the investment that he personally puts into those stores, man, that's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
And it pisses, as a Bass Pro man, it pisses me off.
They gonna
Yeah.
get theirs. They gonna get theirs.
Oh yeah, trust me. I mean, they're going to get it to the fullest extent, I would imagine. But,
Yeah.
But it's just not a cool thing to do.
No,
it's just
not
not a
cool at
cool
all.
thing. I mean, you go into the House of Conservation and you jump in the fish tank. I mean, like,
And you're
Who does that?
endangering.
Yeah, that's
You
what,
said
that's
that.
what we
You said
talked.
that.
That's what we said.
You
Yeah,
said
that's
that's
what we
clean.
I
said.
just said we took the hooks off.
Yeah, you just got him to the water and lifted him.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they will bite them.
Yeah, just
they'll
yeah,
bite.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what a lot of guys do. Like in,
I said I didn't hook any of the fish in the tank. Were you listening?
she's on it, dude. She is on. She ain't letting you mess up none.
Cowgirl
dude.
hat.
They did.
Yeah,
There's just no hooks on.
Oh no, I never lipped one.
You said that?
Like I said.
that's what a lot of those guys in pre-fishing tournaments, they'll go and they'll cut the hooks off and just throw, and
For real?
and they'll bite on, and just so they know fish are there, but they won't hook them. They'll let them go back to their spot.
What a
and then,
smart tactic.
yeah, yeah.
I would have liked to hook one.
Yeah, ain't no
there's some
doubt.
giants in there. You know, and also, sorry, real quick.
No, go for
You're
it.
putting the animals at risk in that water too. Like as
100%.
far as like messing up the
Oh,
balance.
dude, get out of here with that.
Get outta here.
That bull.
Don't bring that shit around here.
that's not cool.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
No, man, I think we're to the point where we do the one that got away.
Do I play on that one?
Yeah, yeah. Did they tell you about this? We do a thing
Yeah.
called the. Okay, good. I didn't know. We didn't pre-talk about. We usually
By
pre-talk.
they, we mean did Jordan tell
Yeah.
Kelly about this? All right. So what am I? How's this song go?
This song's nothing like the other one. I'm sure it was important, that thing you're trying to say, but it's that part of the show for the one that got away.
It's actually just like it.
Just like it. Chris, we do the one that got away. It could be a deer. It could be a fish. It could be not a girl because you're married and she didn't get away. That's the one for you.
Anything.
It could be a hamburger. We say this one all the time. Colby Calais was paid with a $25,000 gift card one time for a show to like this resort, and she let it expire. So that one's the one that got away.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
We should start increasing that number every time because we tell that story every week to make sure whoever's on.
Get it up to like $2 million.
Yeah, it should be like, well, it was a 50,000. And just keep and just see how dramatic it gets. Anyway, it could be anything.
So when we say the one that got away to you, what do you think of?
2011, November
right
30th, 2011.
Oh, knows the date.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be a deer. Yes,
The deer would
November
have
30th.
he would have definitely been at least 210, 215 here in Tennessee.
We don't know anything about that, do we?
I had him at 17 yards. And
here in Tennessee.
Wait, give us this. Well, I got to know, how does that even happen? Like, how are you watching this deer year after year after year after year? No.
I was
New deer.
I was going in to hunt a different deer.
Rut deer.
Yeah, it was a late rut deer. It's November 30th. Never forget it.
Wow.
Tell you what truck I had, tell you everything.
Yeah.
And so I was going to hunt on a piece of land that I had permission on back then, a buddy of mine's place, and I was going to hunt a different deer. And as I came around the bend, the neighbor's property right across the road's big sanctuary, no hunting allowed, like super against hunting.
Yeah.
Don't love that.
Yeah.
So
Love to be the property button up to that guy though.
Yeah. But it was like, a 2-lane road in between them. So same deer.
Sure.
So I was going in, and as I turned the corner, about to go in the driveway, standing right next to the road, tending 4 does, was the biggest deer I've ever seen ever in the wild. And
like typical, non-typical,
completely typical, zero, completely typical. I got him on video. I'll show you some video sometime. It's on an old phone somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I whipped into his driveway, and I go back, and it starts pouring down rain, and I'm standing there. I have all this documented, by the way. And so I'm standing by his fence, and I'm like belly crawling up there, and I get to 17 yards. But you can't shoot across the road.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, so if I can just call him across the road,
get him
over into this thicket, and shoot him.
Yeah.
And never happened. Never happened.
You just sat there and watched him.
Well, cars kept stopping on the road to look.
Oh, no.
Cars kept stopping. And at some point, he got a little spooky.
Never saw him again?
Never saw him one time ever. And I don't know of him being shot ever.
Yeah, you would have heard about that.
Yeah, you definitely heard about it. So somewhere, there's a dead head laying somewhere. And sheds, probably gone by now. But the biggest deer I've ever seen was the one that got away. And I was 17 yards from him. If you could have shot across the road, this would have been a done deal.
Yeah.
But
look at you staying legal.
Yeah.
Look at you.
It ain't worth it, man.
It ain't worth it.
Yeah. I agree.
That's right.
I agree.
No deer is nothing is worth getting in trouble over.
Yeah.
It's
stupid.
Not. Good one.
Okay, now we do Gravorite song. So this is like greatest / favorite tune.
Yeah, we kind of have to explain this one too, because it's not like the greatest song ever written. It's more like your cornerstone song in your life. Like, what was the tune that kind of maybe inspired you to do this, or that resonates with you when you look back on your life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Play it? Or
let's do it.
Okay.
Hell yeah. You want to play it? You want me to play it?
Give him that thing.
Okay, I'm going to do this. Well, yeah, I'm going to do this. Hey, I'm just going to kind of aim my
You got a
mic.
pick in here?
Oh, yeah. Where are my keys?
Thanks, man. I used to have one of them too. Perfect.
I'll just point my mic that way too.
Yeah, just pointing, mowing.
That's great. So say again what's the Gravorite song?
Just like your cornerstone.
Cornerstone tune that you love. We're going to make a playlist.
Oh. I got ketchup on my blue jeans. I just burned my hand. Lord, it's hard to be a bachelor man. I got girls that can cook, girls that can clean, girls that can do anything in between. I gotta get ready, make everything right, 'cause all my rowdy friends are coming over tonight.
coming over tonight.
Come on.
Dude, Chris Janson out in God's country, everybody.
Wait.
Yeah,
Dude.
this is your thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, tonight I'll kick the footlights out again and try to hide the mood I'm really in. Might not put on my old Instamatic grin. Tonight I'll kick the footlights out again. That's another one. That's one like,
That's a good one.
I don't know which one I love more. Dude, just go, man. Go. Play whatever you want to play. You're freaking great.
well, excuse
Oh,
me,
God.
but I think you got my share. No, that one's not taken, I don't mind. You sit here, I'll be glad to share. Well, it's usually packed here on Friday nights. Well, if you don't mind, could I talk you out of a line? That's another one of my favorites.
Golly, bro.
So good.
What about you?
Probably.
You have a great story about that song, about writing with Dean.
Oh yeah. So first time I wrote with Dean, he said I had this idea for a song. It's actually a pretty sweet story. So my grandmother, when my granddad came back from war, she was at her aunt's house. And so when my granddaddy Spud pulled up, she was trying to get out the door, and that, all those padlocks. She lives in Mississippi, and they had all these padlocks and stuff. And she couldn't. She said, "Could somebody open this damn door?" And it was the only cuss word they ever heard my grandmother say, like, period. And so I'm telling Dean Dillon this song, and I'm like, I have this idea for a song called "Damn Door," and I said, and I told him the story, and I said, but at the end of it, it's just like a 4x7, 4x6 inanimate object of piece of wood, and he goes, well, I did write the chair.
Did okay with the chair.
Yeah, you did all right with that. Dude.
Oh, man.
Talk
He
about
walked-
an icon.
He walked into my place first time, the house he used to live in before the one we live in now. And he walks in, strolls in, sits down,
Has a cigarette, smoking something.
literally
going, dude.
lights a cigarette and goes, "Can I smoke in here?"
After already. You're like, yeah, I guess so.
I smoke cigars indoors all the time, no problem. But I was like, I'm like allergic to cigarettes, but I'm like, of course you can, Dean.
Yeah,
Dillon.
you think they'll do
I
whatever
mean,
you want, I guess.
I don't. He's like, to me, I mean, he's the epitome of what cool songwriter looks like.
He's cool.
Yeah, man.
You
Yeah,
know?
him and David Lee Murphy are kind of the guys. Man. Cool guy.
Oh man, David Lee Murphy.
He's
guy.
so cool, man.
Mine, I was out there with Lynn and Donna on the farm, man. We was out there just. we was out there, man.
Oh, dude.
That's it.
We was out there. We was
man.
out there at Janson's house, man. That dude was cooking us some doves. We were writing some hit
Man,
songs, and
good.
I was telling him all the kinds of things, man, about me and Chesney was out there on the road. We was out there doing. I said, I ain't gonna sit on your throne, man. I'm gonna do it.
Oh, dude.
By the way, David Lee sees that. He knows I love him. That guy. We grew up 30 minutes apart.
Oh, wow.
So, I bought my first car, Heron, Illinois, 69 Coronet 440. Never forget it. Pulled into the old lady, came out, curlers in her hair and a nightgown, and had it on Swap Shop, which was like the original, like the OG Craigslist or Marketplace.
Okay.
Swap Shop.
I don't know Swap Shop.
Swap Shop's a thing in the southern Midwest. It's like the Trading Post, the Swap Shop. It's where you can call in to an AM radio line and you talk to a DJ, and then the DJ says what they're selling. And it's like, oh yeah, I got my first gun like that. I got my first 410 like that. I got
That's
my first
awesome.
bicycle like that. So it's like you call in a Swap Shop. Swap Shop. Yeah, I got 3 banty roosters down here in potbelly stove. I've got a 92 Ford Ranger, a 410 Savage.
All of it for sale.
I got a 2-row bottom plow and, just whatever you can imagine. Right? And I got a 69 Coronet with a bad quarter panel with 13,000 miles with a 440 engine. And
I'm looking for a deer stand.
Yeah, no, 100,000%. So first car came off swap shot. So we drove over to Harlan, Illinois, and we got it. And the old lady comes out and she comes out and she was kind of cranky. First thing she says, she goes, "You do know this is the home of David Lee Murphy, don't you?" And I was like, "Yes, ma'am, I do." And, me and David, man, we grew up, years apart, of course. I mean, was already a big star when I was young. And, but I was always such a icon to me, he was an icon. He was always such an icon to me. And so when I get to write with him, it's a privilege.
Oh, for sure.
It's a privilege for me.
Doubt.
And he just cracks me up. He's maybe the most realest deal guy that we all know.
He can't help but be real. The first time I wrote with him, he tried to sell me. This is funny. I don't even know if I can say this because I don't want to incriminate his cousin, but it may not have been his cousin. We'll just say it's some guy. Some guy,
not his cousin,
was pulled a camper into David Lee's barn and was hiding from the law in the barn.
Oh, for sure.
And had left and called David Lee back and been like, "Hey man, you could just have that camper."
He's trying to tell you,
and he was trying to sell me the camper.
That's
the next time we wrote,
joker right there.
he talked about he loves crappie. Loves, for the record, David Lee Murphy loves crappie. So I had like 12 bags of crappie in my freezer, and I brought him a frozen bag of crappie. And every time I see him to this day, this is 10 years ago, he's like, "Hey man, remember you brought me that bag of crappie?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "They was good, man." I'm like, "Cool, man. You still got that?" I'm like, "You still got that camper?" He's like, "Nah, I sold it."
God, you sound just like him. Too.
No,
That's
you
incredible.
got it, dude. I'm just marking you at this point.
He was out at the house the other day, and we've been writing a lot, and I've been writing a lot of new stuff, and
there you go. There's some music. We kind of talked music right there.
Hence as you guys got to come over and be a part of this.
Let's go, man. We're already down there.
And Mitch has been over there every day. We've been writing out at my
I
cabin.
love Mitch.
Yeah.
I love Mitch.
Me too.
He's so great.
My wife, discovered Mitch really, and back when he was working, Kelly discovered him. He was working at Nissan. He was writing songs for a little publisher in town, and just didn't have a whole lot going on, but he had some great songs. And I remember when she first said, "You got to write with this guy." I remember where we were, right down here off Music Row. We were down by the
trap. This guy's got a steel trap.
We were down by the old sub shop, and right across from Southern Ground Studios, and before Southern Ground was there.
Oh yeah, I remember that shop.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, remember the old sub shop?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
And so we were right there, and getting back into a 2001 white Lexus SUV RX 350, and she said, "You got to
Steel
listen
trap.
to this song." She put the CD in of Mitch Oglesby, and it was I'll never forget the opening line: "Sun coming up on Wildwood Lake, old Zebco," and she said, "He sounds like Waylon Jennings." And I said, "Yeah, he does." And so, you got to write with him. I said, "Well, what cuts does he have?" Back then I didn't have any cuts.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything going on. And you always want to write with somebody who has something going on. Right? And so I was like, "I'm not writing with this guy."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, you are." And so I did. And I'm glad I did, because it started a lifelong relationship and friendship. And one of my brothers in life. But so proud of him. He's had 2 number ones on me and with me, All I Need Is You and Done.
Yeah,
and then he
yeah.
just had his 3rd number one with Country On, with Luke. And then we wrote one for Cody Janson called Build a Fire that we're real proud of.
Yes.
And thank you. Yeah. And he's just doing really good. He wrote my song Redneck Life, which is a big song in my set. Never was a radio single. Sure. But all thanks to Kelly for signing him.
Shout out Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly's the best, man.
Kelly seems like she keeps you straight, dog.
I told you. What I tell you the first time I met you?
Yeah.
I told you that first time I met you.
No doubt.
I said, she runs the whole operation. And yeah, it's wonderful. We have a great marriage. Might as well talk about that on this God's Country quickly, because
yeah, man, pull that mic in just a little bit. So
God's Country, man, I think represents probably for me a lot more, just try to be as godly of a man as I can. I think that we all probably do. We fall short of it daily, but my marriage is awesome. I married my best friend. We met at Melrose Pool Hall down below years ago.
Mm-hmm.
She was doing A&R on the row here. Listening for those of you who don't know what A&R is, artist relations. She was listening for songs by songwriters to give to artists because she worked at a record label. So anyway, I saw her for the first time there, and and I fell in love with her for first sight, and then we got married 3 years later, and it was just an amazing journey we've been on. She's my manager, and I don't know that she even loves being my manager anymore, but I can tell you that I'm pretty hard to manage in some points. But,
You don't say.
You know, we
I
don't.
would not have thought that.
She loves the managing.
Bit of a pistol.
Yeah.
She loves the managing. No, but man, it's the only way when Buy Me a Boat hit.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll fast forward to that. When Buy Me a Boat hit, the only way I was comfortable being a songwriter, I had Love This Life. I had
Yeah.
lots of songs on the chart. Like things were going really good, and we had a little buzz, so our independent touring was going great. I was out of a record deal and didn't want one,
Yeah.
and wrote Buy Me a Boat, and that happened independently. Most people don't know that Buy Me a Boat for the first 4 weeks was just an independent thing.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That was all ours before we ended up eventually signing with Warner, which was again was a great deal. But
Yeah.
I said, I'm only doing this if you manage me. Period. I am not doing it any other way, because at that point we had been kicked around so much in Nashville
trust me.
that we had built it totally ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And-
what everybody wants is when you've already built it.
Yeah, correct. So we still are just building it ourselves, and without her, I wouldn't be doing this today. I would not be sitting here with you. I would not be doing anything musically if it weren't for her.
No,
If we're not a team, then if you don't get her, you don't get me, and if you don't get me, you certainly don't get her.
I can speak for us too in this thing. Like
Yeah, I'm
we've
not
kind
married
of
to Jordan, but we definitely wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Jordan.
and this thing started the same way where she was like, "Hey, I feel like you should do this, but like I need to be a part of it because nobody knows y'all the way I do, and nobody can manage this thing the way I'm going to manage it." And bro, it is. I mean, it's the reason that we're sitting here too.
I actually think it's just incredible that you just work with your wife. I mean, that just shows what kind of a man you are, and
Wait, we don't need to compliment him.
appreciate that. I know.
well,
yeah,
it shows what
Chris
kind of
knows
man
me.
you are.
Yeah, Chris knows
you
me.
know. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not a far
My wife's
cry.
great too, man.
Yeah.
By the way,
But hey, man, and real men stand by their women. They don't just stand by themselves, and then the woman stands in the shadow. I'm a firm believer.
Yeah,
of that.
man, I agree with that.
Preach,
Just
man. I like
the
to
way
hear
it
it.
is.
I agree with that.
The way it is.
Well, we could go forever because you're awesome, and this has been awesome.
I actually like it. I mean, I could talk for
I
days and
know.
days
You have
and
to come
days with
back.
you
Yeah,
guys.
you have to come
man.
back.
Seriously, come back.
I know we're gonna have to edit the of this because of all the
We
shit I
don't.
said,
Jordan
but,
will. Yeah, it'll be great.
She'll take care of it. Okay, good.
Great
Yeah,
meeting
hey,
you.
It's my pleasure to meet you too.
Yeah.
I really liked your brother. First time I met him, I said, "Man, we're going to get along good."
No
And,
doubt.
Kindred
it's-
spirits, man.
and it's not like, and you guys know what I mean. Let's just be real with people.
Yeah.
Everybody you meet, just so the fans out there watching know, man. Everybody says in country music, "Oh, we're just a little buddy community," and that's for the most part true. But sometimes we're competing against each other,
Sure.
and then sometimes you meet people who are right in the middle,
Yeah.
and you love competing with them, and you love working with them. And when I met your brother, and now I already knew you were cool, Casey Beathard, and he told me. but man, it's such an honor to be with people who are like-mindedness. I
Same.
mean,
For sure,
to
man.
sit in front of a sign that says God
Yeah.
says a lot.
So
So
we ain't scared of nothing, man.
I appreciate. I'm not either, and I appreciate what you're saying. We should probably make this a regular deal
Let's
because
do
it's
it.
a lot
Come
of
on
fun.
back
Let's
in,
do it.
man.
And,
Please
and
come
we're
on
gonna
back.
write some damn songs.
Yeah,
Love
come
it.
on
Thank
back.
you, guys.
Everybody,
For
Chris
sure.
Janson hanging out in
Hey.
God's country.
Good day. Good day.
We'll
Thanks
check
for coming.
y'all. We'll check y'all next time.